Welcome into Training Camp Live. It is Tuesday, the first day of padded practice here in Oxnard, California for your Dallas Cowboys. Nick Harris alongside Mickey Spagnola. We're going to take a look at these guys as they're starting to crack the pads a little bit. Offensive line and defensive line action we're going to take a look at here. This is obviously a really important depth unit on this defensive line, especially with the injury now to Sam Williams. It's going to be something to keep an eye on. And obviously losing two offensive line starters over the offseason, this is going to be a really close battle to watch as time goes on.
Yeah, and they've got, they've been having Tyler Guyton at left tackle, but now with the pads on, they've got Chuma Adoga there, so I'll be interested to see. It looks like Nealon is going to go up against Chuma.
Yeah, Chuma
now
Adoga.
They switched because they went weak and strong, so Mike is on this side over here, and it looks like they're false starting, by the way.
Yeah, Chuma Adoga with the false start there.
So he goes out, and Awesome Richards comes in at left tackle, and he's been playing a lot of both guard and tackle.
Yeah, and that was something that we were looking at whenever he got drafted in the 5th round out of North Carolina a year ago. Played mostly guard last year during the preseason, but definitely had some tackle reps as well. So he looks good there on the left side, keeping Micah contained in the running game. As that's Rico Dowdle on the carry, I believe. That's Royce Freeman, the veteran addition over the offseason out of Oregon.
And one of the plays we didn't see, Zeke got the first one, and he busted all the way through untouched. So he's still got a little burst, by the way.
Yeah, do you think he could be an RB1, Mickey, as time goes on?
You know what? It's going to be interesting to keep an eye on it. Okay, looks like Guyton now is at left tackle.
Yeah, we got Guyton at left tackle and Cooper Beebe at center, the two rookies now on the offensive line. As this is a carry to Malik Davis over to the left side.
And he just buried Golston.
Yeah, big-time win there from the offensive line unit. And how about Tyler Guyton? Getting these reps here at left tackle, obviously going to be so important as these pads come on and they get more comfortable with the system as time goes on. That next preseason game will be huge next week for Tyler Guyton.
So they've got the second-team offensive line in there right now.
Up against the second-team defensive line, you see Marshawn Nealon on the left side. This is going to be a carry up the middle. A little bit of a crowded area there in the middle, but nevertheless was able to squeak out for a minimal gain.
And Durrell Johnson made no movement against Guyton on that one.
And Guyton's looked pretty good at these first few days of camp.
Yes.
Now, they've started to work him into the first-team unit, trying not to just throw him into the fire, but even when he does get these opportunities, he is shining under them.
Yeah, and this is basically, obviously, run blocking, and they just caved in the side of the line.
Yeah, completely just formed a huge hole there on the left side. Really good job there from the two tight end set to the left of Tyler Guyton. I think that's going to be huge for Tyler Guyton as well. Being able to have a tight end next to him, whether it be Jake Ferguson, Luke Schoonmaker, Brevin Spanford, a guy that can help him get after the point of attack in the run game, it could really benefit him.
I think they can't just throw him into the deep end right away, and I think they need to let him get his feet underneath him and help him with a tight end over on that side.
Here's another two tight end set with Princeton Fant and Brevin Spanford to Chuma Adoga's left. It's a similar running play, but this time a little bit more contact generated by the defensive line. That was Damian Wilson and Buddy Johnson that were able to get in there on Royce Freeman.
So now they've gone back to a mixture.
Yeah, a little bit of a mixture. You see Tyler Smith at left guard. You see Brock Hoffman at center, Zach Martin at right guard. So this is first-team unit, but with Trey Lance at quarterback.
And Martin's out there, and yeah, get set.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy offering maybe an expletive or two. Maybe our editor will have to edit that one out on the back end, huh? There's a handoff to Rico Dowdle. It was kind of a counter action. You saw Trey Lance come to the left side. I don't know if that was by design, but it worked out for him.
Took a false step and came back. That was a pretty big hole there for the offensive line. And usually we're sitting here going, well, the defense is ahead of the offense. Well, the offensive line is doing a nice job.
Yeah, this defensive line unit obviously going to be focused on in the injury of Sam Williams. Guys like Marshawn Nealon, Durrell Johnson, these are some guys that are going to have to step up in his absence. Here's a handoff to the left side to Snoop Connor.
Good play by Mozzie.
Yeah.
He took on the double team and found the running back. And that's something that they need him to do, to be able to hold up against a double team and still be able to fill the hole there.
Yeah, you see Mozzie starting to grow a little bit more confident with every day that passes out here in Oxnard. That's a really good rep there from him. They need him to be that run stopper in the middle of that defensive line this
And he
next
also
season.
seems to be growing, too.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? Just a little bit bigger than us, Mickey.
Grow sideways. Come on, put that weight back on.
It looks like Mike McCarthy is really emphasizing these guys getting in the huddle and then going up to the line together. That's probably a communication standpoint on Trey Lance's part.
They're working on pace. And you got Lance playing behind the first team offensive line.
There's Malik Davis, and he's blown up on the right side of that defensive line. You can see Eric Kendricks in there, Micah Parsons. It's really good trench work there in the middle.
It's pretty good work for the first day in pads,
Hey,
right?
you have to love it. You have to love it. Whenever
It's
those
about
pads
time.
are cracking.
I know they have rules. Now you got the second line in there, or majority of.
You also have DeMarcus Lawrence still, so it's kind of a mix. You have Micah Parsons on the far side.
I meant on the
Gotcha.
the offensive line.
And there's Royce Freeman trying to find something in the middle of the offensive line. He just kind of fights forward.
It's like watching men's gymnastics. Every play, no matter what happens, the offensive line celebrates.
A little bit of Olympic action on our minds for sure going deeper into training camp.
Okay, you got two tight ends.
Brevin Spanford and Luke Schoonmaker, these are your two best blocking tight ends. How can they help get after it in the run game if this is going to the left side? It goes to the right side of Malik Davis, but he cuts back, trying to make something happen, but Marshawn Nealon was all over it. He was so good in the run game at Western Michigan,
Yes.
and it was a big reason why he was drafted in the second round. You're starting to see that show up time and time again.
And that's what attracted the Cowboys' attention to him, and why one of the reasons why they selected him in the second round, his ability to play the run and play hard on every snap.
Now here's more action to the left side. This is going to be Nathaniel Pete on the carry. You saw Buddy Johnson that got in there, was able to make a tackle.
Yeah, and Nealon kind of held his ground. He didn't make the play, but he didn't get pushed off the line of scrimmage. And when they're running right at you, that's what you at least want them to do. It looks like we got a little break coming up here.
Now we got some full-on 11-on-11 action. This is what we have been waiting for here at training camp. The pads are on, all 22 players on the field. We got both first-team units. Let's see what is cracking here in Oxnard. You got Chuma Edoga that's going to start out at left tackle with Jake Ferguson to his left as a tight end. So here's Dak Prescott, handoff over to Ezekiel Elliott. Makes the first guy miss and was able to
See there?
make something work there. Yeah, that might be what you need in the backfield from Ezekiel Elliott.
Took one
here in
step and
2024.
cut, right? Didn't look slow to me.
Yeah, definitely needed in that running back room going into this season. So now Rico Dowdle will get his opportunity in the backfield behind Dak Prescott. Is Dak under center. Takes a snap, and it's going to be a handoff to Rico to the left side, but he cuts back to the right. He also made a couple of guys miss. Maris Leofau was in the middle of that action, as well as Donovan Wilson. It would have been a gain of, I would imagine, about 5 or 6 there for Rico Dowdle, but pair of handoffs here to start off this 11-on-11 action.
So with Micah Parsons lining up at defensive end, they're playing 3 linebackers, and Leofau is the third linebacker.
Yeah, this first pass play, it was blown dead. A little bit of jumping on the line after the hard count there from Dak Prescott. Couldn't
We had
quite
something
tell.
there, either
Yeah.
offsides or
It looked like
false
maybe
start.
Micah Parsons threw a hand out a little bit early. So he's matching up here with Chuma Edoga coming off this left side. You also have Tyler Smith, Brock Hoffman, Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele there on the offensive line in front of Dak Prescott. So here's Dak's play action. He's going to look to the left side. Now he looks down to the right, checks it down to Ezekiel Elliott, who's able to get a minimal gain of about 5 or 6 before being pushed out of bounds by Damone Clark.
So the offense lines up with a fullback, and the Cowboys played a true 4-3 with 3 linebackers actually on the field.
It's been a while since we've seen that, huh, Mickey?
It's about time.
Mike Zimmer bringing this new defensive system and 3 linebackers. That is the one thing that we've heard time and time again since OTAs and minicamp. You see Eric Kendricks, Maris Luafau, as well as Damone Clark there on the field. You'll see DeMarvion Overshone rotate in as well. Those are the 4 guys that I think you'll see probably the most there in that second level of the Dallas Cowboys defense. Just another play-action handoff. He's looking deep, and he's got a comeback route to Jalen Brooks. It was a little underthrown, but Brooks was able to make the grab. He came back and lost Nashawn Wright, and he was able to haul in the completion. Really good grab there from Jalen Brooks.
Yeah, he had a comeback route. The ball was short. Dak was under a little bit of pressure. Okay, now we got the first team out here. And by the way, we know that Trayvon Diggs got cleared to practice, but they're easing him in, so he's not going to take part in any of this stuff.
Yeah, you won't see Trayvon probably until a few practices at least, but here's the second team unit. Look at Deuce Vaughn lined up out here as a receiver. This is something we saw a little bit during minicamp. He's going to motion across the line. It's going to be a handoff to the right side. That's to Royce Freeman. As the first and second levels were able to combine for that tackle. Buddy Johnson and Wanye Thomas in there.
Nice gain, 5 yards, right?
It's a little bit more than the yards per carry he was used to a year ago, as they need him to be a productive bell cow if Ezekiel Elliott needs some time.
So the second offensive line's in there. So Guyton's at left tackle. Got BB at center. And got to get lined up right.
A little bit of miscommunication so far. Mike Solari clapping in front, maybe getting used to these young offensive line.
Okay, I got to get him.
You'll see another 2 tight end set here with Brevin Spanford and Princeton Fant. That's Malik Davis in the backfield. It's going to be a play action from Cooper Rush. He's going to roll to his right and try to just rush for a few, no pun intended. He's able to get a couple of yards out of that before Brock Mogensen, the undrafted free agent out of South Dakota, was able to push him out of bounds.
Not sure if that was a called play, but if he checked out of something, he did a pretty good job. Now we got Trey Lance at quarterback.
Yeah, design Cooper Rush scramble. That would be something that would not be on my bingo card. You're seeing a lot more of the depth unit out here now. Undrafted free agent Cam Johnson, who's made a couple of plays on our training camp lives through this point. This is Trey Lance here at quarterback under Cooper Beebe.
One of the things we got to keep an eye on with Beebe is his snaps to see how well he's doing. So far, so good.
This is going to be a handoff to the right side, and it's stopped for a minimal gain there from Malik Davis. So the defensive line was able to get in there. You see Darrell Johnson. You also see Denzel Daxon, Carl Davis in there as well.
Got to keep an eye on Denzel Daxon, right? Big body, nose tackle. Obviously, they need some depth there, and you know, if he could play a little, he's got an opportunity.
It's Royce Freeman now in the backfield. They are rotating these running backs in and out, getting them all reps here in this 11-on-11 action. It's going to be a pure drop back from Trey Lance. He fires it to the right side, able to get his guy. That's going to be enough for about a 10-yard gain to Racy McMath.
See, that's one of the things we need from Trey Lance, Nick, is him getting the ball out on time, like seeing the play and delivering and not hesitating. He just hasn't played a lot of football, but he did a nice job there. Now we're back to the first team offense.
First team unit back on the field. Rico Dowdle in the backfield. You see Jalen Tolbert and Brandon Cooks here on your left side. As Tolbert motions across the line, starting to see a little bit more of that here in Oxnard. And it's a dump down to Brandon Cooks, who came across the formation and was able to make a play there on the drag route.
Pretty neat play. The offensive line motion was to the quarterback's left, and they threw the ball to the right. So they got rid of a lot of off defensive linemen on that play with a kind of misdirection.
Yeah, getting the ball to Brandon Cooks in space, that could be something that could help open up this offense even more going into year 2 with Mike McCarthy as the play caller. Rico Dowdle remaining in the backfield here with Dak Prescott in front of the first team offensive line. It's going to be a handoff to Dowdle up the middle. He's going to make a couple of guys miss, and Eric Kendricks and Nashawn Wright were there after he was able to get through the first level. But all in all, good work there from Rico Dowdle.
Absolutely. And, you know, his deal, he just has to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, he's got a chance to, I think, be a pretty darn good running back. Everybody's looking at the depth at the running back, but Dowdle's got a little something to him. Okay, we got Nealon now against Chuma.
You got trips to Dak Prescott's left. Cavante Turpin, Jalen Tolbert, and Brandon Cooks. It's play action hand. And it is a handoff up the middle to Royce Freeman, who was able to bounce off a couple of guys.
Has Freeman, I mean, I know this is the first practice in pads, though, but has he surprised you so far?
I wouldn't say necessarily surprised, but he's doing his job. And I think that's probably all that Royce Freeman needs to do here in Oxnard to be able to stamp a claim on this team, or at least stamp a roster spot. Just do your job. Be able to get those 3-4 yards per carry whenever you're asked to do some mud work. And I think he's done that to this point. Now when the pads come on and they get used to the pads being on, I think that's when it's going to matter the most here.
Yeah, absolutely. And when they're tackling, right?
Dak Prescott, he's looking deep. He's going to check it down, though.
Coming at us.
And Damone Clark's right there for the stop.
We'd rather them go the other way because we don't have much ground to give here.
Yeah, we might be doing a little hop skip to our loo, huh there, Mickey? Doing 4-down drills here now. Rejoining you on Training Camp Live as Dak Prescott in the shotgun with Ezekiel Elliott to his right. And it's going to be a pitch to the right side to Ezekiel Elliott. He was able to get through that first level before Donovan Wilson was able to step up in the run game.
Nice game once again. And that's something that the Cowboys obviously need to improve on is their running game. Need to be averaging more than 4 yards a carry than they did last year.
Now Rico Dowdle getting his opportunity in the shotgun, this time to Dak Prescott's left. You also see Cavante Turpin, Brandon Cooks on the field. Dak Prescott, he looked left, but he dumped it down to Rico Dowdle on the screen. DeMarvion Overshone read it the whole way, but wasn't able to make the play on Dowdle.
Well, because somebody number 70 got in the way.
Yeah, that Zach Martin guy, he tends to
still
do that.
Pull, right?
One of the most storied players in franchise history on an offensive line that has had a lot of storied players. It's Dak Prescott now back with Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield. Chuma Edoga still getting these opportunities here with the first team at left tackle, as well as Brock Hoffman at center. And Hoffman looks really comfortable there at center, especially in the shotgun as well. It's going to be tough to beat him out for this job. It's Dak Prescott looking to his right, trying to sneak it in there to Jalen Brooks, but Jordan Lewis is right there to knock it down. He's had a strong start to camp, too.
Very good start to camp. He's been around the ball quite a bit, getting his hands on the ball, and he had that covered. So it looks like they're going to go all 4 downs.
Now it's 4th down here. You hear from John Fossil there over the intercom.
See, they're easing Guyton in. Now he's at left tackle.
Yeah, and this is a big rep for him, especially going up against Micah Parsons. Look off this left edge right here. Oh, and Micah jumped.
See, he was a little worried about Guyton, huh?
Yeah, they call. And they call offsides there on Micah Parsons. Yeah, maybe trying to get a leg up on the rookie, but the rookie, he was the one that kept his composure there.
Yeah, he didn't jump. So.
And now they rotate Awesome Richards. He didn't even get a rep. You see Awesome Richards there at left tackle. Ezekiel Elliott back in the backfield with Dak Prescott. Micah Parsons gets around Awesome, but Dak Prescott was able to check it down, and that's just a pure drop there from Brandon Cooks. You rarely see that from the 11-year veteran.
Yeah, he hit him in a bad area where he had his back to the defense. It was a short throw and a little bit low. You'd have liked to see him push the ball down the field, but again, we don't know the plays that they're working on.
Now here's the second team units. Cooper Rush leading out the offense with Snoop Connor in the backfield with him. And he's going to hand it off to Connor to the right side, and it's immediately blown up. Damian Wilson was the first one in there.
A
couple of bodies on the ground. Jalen Brooks slow to get up.
Get up. Brooks and Bostic, 62. Nathan Thomas. Thank you.
Yeah, Nathan Thomas, a 7th-round pick out of Louisiana Lafayette, walking off with a bit of a limp. But it looks like he's going to be all right. He's getting checked out by a couple of guys, but pacing around doing all right back there. Second team still on the field. And Tyler Guyton is on the field now at left tackle. This is a pitch to the right side. A lot of speed coming off that right side, and that's Cavante Turpin on the pitch.
Need to see more of that.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of it last year, him
Right.
lining up in the backfield. He had over 10 carries last year. He had more carries than he had receptions. So it's definitely a part of this offense to get him integrated in the run game, which is very fascinating.
And from the line of scrimmage, I had just looked the other day, he averaged 10 yards a touch. 10 yards on runs, 10 yards on receptions. So give him the ball. Put it in his hands.
Productive when the ball is in his hands. Hunter Lipke now in the backfield with Cooper Rush. Cooper Beebe with a pretty solid shotgun snap there. Rush is going to throw it over to the left side to Alec Holer, the undrafted tight end out of UCF. He had a couple of highlight reel catches with his time with the Golden Knights.
You know what? They got too many tight ends.
There's a lot of them, and
Right?
they're all young. They're all young.
I mean, you can't keep them all, can you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I mean, I could point out 5 of them that, could be on the team.
That's going to be a tough decision on cut day for Mike McCarthy, tight ends coach Lunda Wells, and the front office. So one of those guys, John Stevens, you see him at the front of this trips formation to Cooper Rush's left. They're going to motion over Deuce Vaughn, who's going to kick back out. And Cooper Rush looking over to this left side, and he's going to try to find Racy McMath, who's got a little bit of a hole there, and was able to make something happen. That would have been a pretty good gain had it been live action. Really good grab there from Racy McMath.
My man, McMath, talked to him in the offseason, and, we're talking a guy that ran a 4.3 40 at his rookie combine. He's 6'2", and the unfortunate thing for him, at LSU, he got buried behind all those high-profile wide receivers. He's got a little something.
Yeah, I'm not personally great at math, but 4.3, that sounds pretty good.
For how tall? He's 6'2".
So now this is kind of a hybrid first-team, second-team look. You see Awesome Richards there at left tackle, Dak Prescott in the game with Malik Davis in the backfield, Jalen Tolbert, Brandon Cooks on the field, as well as Kavontae Turpin. And there's Dak, play action, looking deep over the middle of the field. The defensive line was swarming him. He's trying to find John Stevens Jr. He comes back to the ball and was able to make the grab. Good grab there from Stevens.
They called it a catch. It was low, but he got his hands under it. See, there's one of the tight ends. So start counting tight ends, and how many can they keep, right?
And Stevens Jr., an interesting case, obviously coming off of the torn ACL that he suffered in the second preseason game a year ago, but adds 12, 13 pounds of lean mass that he said is going to be able to help him at that tight end position.
Don't you think he would have made it last year?
Yeah, absolutely. And Stephen Jones said it himself. Over to the left side now, this is Malik Davis trying to find some room. He's getting a lot of burn here in this 11-on-11 action. This is a big preseason for him.
Right? And he was ahead of Rico Dotto when Rico was out injured a couple years ago, and he played well, so he's going to get an opportunity too. So it looks like it might be between Malik and Freeman to see who's that third running back, assuming they keep a fullback as a fourth.
Micah Parsons against Tyler Guyton here now. Keep an eye at left tackle. Big play here for the rookie, as he's able to hold Micah Parsons there on the left side and allows Dak Prescott to get the ball off, but it was a little behind Jalen Brooks. Nashawn Wright couldn't quite find it in time, but nevertheless, that's a pass breakup for Wright.
Yeah, and that's good to see because, even with Diggs coming back now, they need a fourth corner, and that's what happened in that playoff game. They ran out of corners and played Gilmore with a shoulder that needed to be surgically repaired. They didn't trust Nashawn Wright, so I would think he's in a fight for a roster spot this year.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a big-time fight. You see Kalen Carson, the fifth-round rookie out of Wake Forest. He's had a strong start to camp, had an interception on Sunday on a deep route. Here's Dak Prescott. He's looking for his guy, Tyron Billy Johnson, who has started to become pretty trusted here in Oxnard to haul in the ball, and he does just that on that play. Got loose from Nashawn Wright. And there's another reception from the New Orleans product.
And it'll tell you something when you see somebody wearing 13 that we certainly didn't know what 13 was going in the offseason, and now we know Tyler Billy Johnson, right?
Yeah, also DeMarvion Overshown wearing that number 13. So if both of these guys make the roster, one of them's going to have to figure out what number they're going to wear.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to change.
Now here's Trey Lance. Good opportunity to get a look at the young quarterback. Still under the age of 25, still young in his career, but you would have to think his opportunity is starting to run thin here in the NFL. Could this be the last big chance he has at landing a big-time roster spot in the league? You would have to think so. This is a big-time preseason for Trey Lance.
Somebody will keep taking a chance on him, even if it's not here. I guarantee you. There's probably a lot of places in the league that he's a better third quarterback than anybody else has. But I think for him, this is an opportunity that he's going to get to maybe win a backup job if he can show that he can play.
Here's Trey Lance again. This is with Rico Dowdle in the backfield with him. It's going to be a handoff to Dowdle, who's trying to find some room up the middle, but it was blown up super early on. And Awesome Richards had a good play there on the left side as well. Really good work here by the depth units on both lines. As you look at the linebacking core here, you got Maris Luafau, the third-round pick out of Notre Dame. Also Jason Johnson, the undrafted linebacker out of UCF. So here's Trey Lance. He identifies Luafau as the pass rusher on this play. Luafau, he has a pass rushing specialty that could be used on situational plays. This is going to be a deep shot from Trey Lance to Racey McMath, and that's broken up. Sheldrick Redwine was able to come over and cut that one off. May have been a little bit in front of Racey McMath as well. Nevertheless, a really good play there from Redwine to get over.
Yeah, because if not, that's a touchdown.
We appreciate you joining us here on Training Camp Live. Stay tuned with us here on DallasCowboys.com and on the Dallas Cowboys YouTube as we go through training camp. It is almost football time.